Today we're going to do a short video on potting on your chili peppers. What we've gone for this year is a new system, slightly different to your standalone pots or digging your plants straight into your greenhouse. We've got the new Greenhouse Sensations Quadgrow. It's basically a bit like a water bath where the plant gets the feed and the nutrient from the bottom upwards, and we'll explain as we go along how the system works. What we have is basically, I'll take the lid off and show you, it's just like a water bath. It's got a drainage hole at one end so you can empty the water out if it gets a bit too messy, and the lid sits on top. It's got a watering hole so you can top it up with your watering can, keep an eye on the levels. And then we have the pots themselves. These are approximately 11 litre pots. There is another system which is specifically for chili peppers, that's slightly bigger, but we're going to use this for our own chili purposes. You can use it for other fruiting plants that you would have normally in your greenhouse, like tomatoes, possibly cucumbers, things like that. And the pots obviously sit along the front. Okay, now to fill the pots up and get them ready for the plants, we'll do it in stages. Hopefully by the end of the film you'll understand how it's set up. So we'll do it. The first stage is to insert the wick. Now the wicks are basically a sheet of matting that are really absorbent for the water. They sit in the pots, they dangle down into the water and then soak up the water and the nutrients into basically the root ball of the chili plant. Now, as you can see, there's a slight taper to the matting. The taper sits into the pot and the bottom square bit will sit in the water bath. Now, I'll just turn the pot over. We're going to roll it up slightly just to insert it into the pot. And the key to this, as you can see, as it's coming through, what you end up with is the taper basically in level with the top of the pot. And then the bottom bit we're going to insert into the hole. If I just lift this off slightly, pull it through, you can adjust it afterwards. Obviously you can see that that will sit into the water bath. Put that back on and adjust it slightly so that taper is at the top of the pot. Okay, so that's the first one done, and as you can see we've done all four. This is now ready for the next stage, and that's to add the compost. Always best to do this in situ. You can, if you wanted to, do this away from site, but we prefer doing it this way so it's all ready to go. Compost. Recommend using just a good quality multi-purpose compost. The most expensive isn't necessary in our opinion, because remember the water bath is going to have added nutrients and chili grow that will help the chilies. A poor quality soil obviously isn't ideal, so somewhere mid-range is perfect. What we've got here is a Westland multi-purpose compost, and we've added about 10 litres of our own compost that we've been mulching away for the past 12 months. So we've got 50 litres here. Like I said, each pot is about 11 litres. So begin by adding it into the pots. Do this any way you can, by hand, by trowel, by pot. We'll tidy it up afterwards obviously. Okay, now we can see that the pot is virtually filled up. Make sure obviously as you're filling it up that the taper's pretty central and poking out the top of the soil. That's what you want. Make contact with the root ball of the chili plant. Just before we fill it right up, what we're actually going to do is get the plant. This one's a chocolate Buchalockia, good looking healthy plant. We're going to actually put it in its pot, just in position there, just so that we can get some final compost around it. So that's the compost in now, and as you can see we're ready to put the chili in its final position, causing minimum amount of disruption to the root ball. If I lift the pot out carefully, Obviously that's left the shape of the pot, so when I take the actual pepper out of this smaller pot, keep that to the side so we can identify the chilli at all stages. Carefully remove the smaller pots. There we go. Cracking root ball on that. As you can see, these will all fan out into the soil as the pepper develops. So slot that straight in, firm it in, and then top it up with compost. Okay, so that's the chilli in, compost in, the label that you retained, so you can always identify the pepper, chocolate bucciolotti as we discussed. I'm going to pop that in the front corner so we can read it. That's that one done. We're now going to do the other three and show you the final set. The chilies are in their Quadgrow, in their final position now, and at this stage we're just going to water the plants from the top just to get the wick nice and wet and get the plants bedded into their new homes. So I'm going to add a bit of water here. Obviously be careful not to water the leaves, because when the sun beats down it, that will scorch and burn the leaves. But this is just the first stage of what's happening. So now all the plants are watered in from the top. We'll leave that for a couple of days to dry out a little bit, just to become dry to the touch. By that stage the wick will be nice and moist and ready for its the work it's going to be doing now. I don't know if you can see, but there's a watering hole in the middle like we pointed out earlier. The sump takes approximately 30 litres of water. So once these are dry to the touch in a couple of days time, we're going to fill the sump up with 30 litres of water, and then we don't have to water it from the top then, and then the Quadgrow will do its work. There are nutrients to add to help the chilies produce abundant amounts of fruit, hopefully. There's two nutrients that come with the product when you buy the Quadgrow. They're simply called nutrient A and nutrient B. They come in packets like this, as you can see quite clearly. There's an A and a B on it. It says here 250 grams of these crystals makes up 2.5 litres of water. So do the maths to get to the 30 litres. What you do, pop it in a container like this one, which comes obviously with the kit, Greenhouse Sensation. Put some lukewarm water with the nutrients just to dissolve them, a bit like sugar crystals. Mix that up and then add that to the sump. Again, it should say on here how frequently you do that, and then the chilies will soak it all up with the water. Happy days. It's German.